Explanation of footnote number 66 of Aphorism 60. When all unusual palliatives given to relieve the sufferings of the patient, it is observed that after some time there is an increase of the same suffering of the patient, and the physician had to repeat medicines in more stronger doses to achieve the temporary relief of the sufferings of patient, which was never sufficient to relieve permanently and to prevent the increased recurrence of the sufferings. But Brassieu, who was contended against this senseless mixing of different drugs in prescription before 25 years, and thereby it comes ending of its rule in France, for which mankind is grateful to him. He introduced his so-called physiological system without taking note of the homeopathic method. At that time, it was already established. Homeopathy is method of treatment which was effectively lessening and permanently preventing the return of all the sufferings. It was applicable to all diseases of mankind, while palliatives used at that time were, were not able of affecting cure, were not capable of affecting cure, as being unable to heal the disease with mild innocent remedies, and thus establishing cure. Brassieu found the easier way to relieve the sufferings of the patient at the cost of their life, and at last he extinguished the life wholly with this antipathic method of treatment that seemed sufficient for him in those days. After shorter period of relief, in whatever degree patient retains his strength, his ailments again be apparent, and he feels his pain in more intensity. Patient moans and groans and cries out and calls for help more and more vociferously, expressing your opinion or feelings in a loud and confident way, more loudly so that physician cannot come soon to give relief. Brassieu was giving treatment to depress the vital force. Vital force was getting more and more weaker because patient was bleed full of cups and glasses, and vital fluid was sucked by leeches. According to Brassieu, blood was responsible for all types of ailments, which is innocent and irreplaceable. In the same proportion, the patient lost his strength to feel pain or to express his aggravation, aggravated condition even by his gestures. The patient appears more quiet in proportion because of tremendous weakness. The bystanders take it as apparent improvement and again ready to give same treatment on the renewal of his sufferings, may be spasms, suffocation, fears, pain, etc. They feel that they have given relief and quieted him beautifully. So they gave promise for further ease. In disease of long duration, when patient retained some strength, he is put on hunger diet and deprived of food in order to depress the vital force so much successfully, and thereby inhibits the restless state of the patient. The debilitated patient feels unable to protest against further similar measures like bloodletting, leeches, vesiccation, warm bath, and so forth to refuse their employment. Death must follow such a frequently repeated reduction and exhaustion of vital force, which is not noticed by patient who has lost his consciousness, and his relatives. They all are blinded by the improvement of even of the last sufferings of the patient by means of bloodletting, leeches, warm bath, etc. They cannot understand and they are surprised when patient quietly dies. But God knows the patient on his bed of sickness was not treated with violence, as the small prick of lancet was not really painful, and the gum arabic solution was at most the only medicine that was used by Brossiu, which was mild in taste and without apparent action. The bite of leeches was insignificant, and bloodletting procedure was done very quietly by physician, while lukewarm water bath could only soothe. Hence, from the very start, must have been fatal, so that the patient could not revive even though all efforts were taken by the physician and patient had to leave the earth. In this way, the relatives and especially the heirs, persons who is entitled legally for the property of dead, consoled themselves as nothing could be done further and best treatment was given. The physicians in Europe and elsewhere accepted this convenient treatment of all disease according to a single rule, since it saved them from all further thinking and the most laborious work under the sun. They only had to take care to less intensify the pangs of conscience. Innerly, they were feeling guilty, and that feeling was suppressed by themselves, and they consoled themselves that they were not the originator of this system, and this method of treatment was utilized by all the other thousands of followers of Brossiu, and that possibly everything would ease, everything would cease with death. Anyway, as such, it was taught by their master. In this way, thousands of physicians were miserably misled to shed the warm blood of the patient with cool heart. The patient that were capable of cure, and thereby they rob millions of men more than fellow fell on Napoleon's battlefield gradually of their life according to the method of Brossiu. Perhaps it was necessary by the disposition of God for that system of Brossiu which destroyed medically the life of curable patient to precedes homeopathy in order to open the eyes of the world to the only true science and art of medicine. Homeopathy, in which curable patient find health and new life. When this most difficult of all arts is practiced by an untiring discrimination, physician in a pure and conscientious manner.